What's up, everybody? Girardi from the 3T crew with our Hell in a Cell 2020 review. This is 3T Podcast Live exclusively on YouTube. Now, if you want to listen to the 3T Podcast audio only, check us out on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. If you want to support the 3T crew and cop a t-shirt, check us out at ProWrestlingTees.com. If you want to keep up to date with what we're doing daily, wrestling memes and news, daily post, check us out at 3TPod on Twitter, on Facebook at Through the Table, on Instagram at iStrongStyle and Through the Table, and lastly on TikTok at iStrongStyle. Now we're going to do something different in our review. We're still going to do the broken table scale, which is from 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. And we're also going to go break down this card. We're going to go with the filler matches first, due to how important this pay-per-view was and the concept of the pay-per-view was Hell in a Cell. We'll cover the Cell matches at the end. Elias versus Jeff Hardy is a 1.25 broken tables for me. Very skippable match on a filler pay-per-view. This is what happens when you have a themed pay-per-view. You're going to have filler matches in between the space out the Hell in a Cell matches. They're nothing special, so that's why I'm throwing them first, because I really don't want to have to talk about them for too long. That was a 1.25 broken tables. You had Slapjack versus Bobby Lashley. Lashley dominates the match as expected. A lot of people are upset with how Retribution is being booked, but look at it from the other side of it. The Hurt Business is being booked stronger and stronger as we're going on. Lashley retains, Slapjack takes the L. It is what it is. 1.25 broken tables for me. Now we have Otis versus The Miz. This had at least some ramifications that were announced previously, as The Miz beats Otis with Tucker Knight turning heel. No Tucky, no. Why? Why Tucky, why? Whatever you want to call it. The Miz is now the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. And now we'll see how the main event scene's going to look with him. They did a lot to kind of hurt him in the past couple months with the Miz and Morrison stuff. Kind of corny for me, at least. And it's kind of one of those things where you build the guy up for a while, and you make him an established guy, and then you kind of made him look kind of goofy the past 9 months or whatever since Morrison's came back. They've kind of been a non-factor to me. They've been kind of cringe to be if we're really going to get down to it. They've been cringy. We'll see if this could be more serious going forward with him. Hopefully, Miz could work with anybody. I'm glad this Otis feud is gone for him. I think the Otis feud's hurt him a lot more than it's hurt Otis. I think Otis is going to be in the 24/7 title picture eventually. I think that's where he kind of slots in. Same thing with Tucker. I do not see either guy at this point being factors on the main roster or any roster on WWE television right now. Now let's get into what everyone's actually here for, the Hell in a Cell review. We're going to actually follow the order of what these cell matches went. So, opening cell match, which opened the pay-per-view, which was very surprising. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in the rematch from their previous highly acclaimed pay-per-view match. This match delivered a pretty good match. For me, 4.25 broken tables. So this was, I thought, very highly of this match. Very, very highly. It was a very emotional, gripping match. Roman Reigns is on a different planet right now. Character-wise, I think he's finally got it 100%. Him talking shit as the match goes on. Incredible stuff. Jey Uso played one of the better underdog babyfaces we've seen in recent memory, which for a tag team specialist, this was very, very big for him. Also, the physicality in this match is very much raw. This is two cousins. They're going to beat the tar out of each other, and everyone's going to love it. So, I haven't seen... Some people said the match went too long. I think it was too short when you actually look down at it. And then it came out to 29 minutes, I believe. Way too short of a match, especially for a world title match. Yeah. They delivered an absolute banger. The ending sequence when Jimmy Uso came out to confront Roman and Roman's crying. And then he had that moment of villainy where he realized who he is. He's the tribal chief. The hell am I crying for these lower guys on the card for me, right? I'm the tribal chief. They're supposed to be under me. Why am I trying to stoop to them? He had that moment of clarity, which is probably going to be one of the defining moments of his career now, going forward, where He put him in the whatever the guillotine choke. They haven't given it a name yet. They gotta give it a name. As long as they don't call it the money clip. How to get an Okada reference in, but he locked it in on Jimmy Uso and he forced Jay to tap out, to quit, and that's how he retains the belt. That moment of clarity is going to be iconic for his character, I think. When you look forward, it's going to be massive. For Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania season, we're almost there now. Survivor Series is coming up. We're almost to the road to WrestleMania. I would like to see Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania this year, especially if you can have a crowd. That's kind of the money match for me for him. I don't see him doing a Goldberg match or any other that crap. I think Roman versus The Rock is the big ticket match. In the meantime, I do want to see him fight Jimmy Uso. I think let's give Jimmy some shine too. We gave Jay some shine and raise his stock in the company. So let's rise Jimmy Uso's stock. Even if it's for 1 month only, it makes sense given that he tapped him out. It's gonna be interesting to see if Jay falls in line now. I believe he will, because that was part of the stipulation. Also, at the end of this match, you had the wildest moments. Alpha and Sika crowned Roman Reigns the tribal chief. And to really harp down this moment, the importance of it, you have Jey Uso crying in the ring, knowing that now he is the tribal chief. When the OGs crown you, it is what it is, right? So that match, 4.25 broken tables, incredible stuff. If you have time to check out 1 or 2 matches on this card, this is the number one or number 2 match, depending on your personal preferences of the night. Check this one out. Now we're getting into our second one, which I thought should have main event. I don't know why I didn't main event this one. Sasha versus Bayley. They've had critically acclaimed matches in NXT. The match at TakeOver Brooklyn 1, the Iron Woman match. Now this is the 3rd match in their big match trilogy, if you want to say. And wow, I think they beat both of them. To me, I don't know if they beat the TakeOver Brooklyn one. Now that I'm like really thinking about it, it was close, but I'm not too sure if they passed it. But 4.5 broken tables for me. I really enjoyed this one. At times it felt a little long at the end. I think they went a little too long on this one, but this match was really hot. Red hot match. Like all these cell matches, I think would have done better with a real crowd. I feel bad that a lot of these big time feuds that are normally settled inside of Hell in the Cell didn't have that moment. But that's not WWE's fault. That's not Vince's fault. That's our country's fault. So it is what it is. Sasha Banks really hit some amazing meteors. I want to give both women credit. Very creative cell match. When you see Hell in the Cell every year now, and you see maybe 2 or 3 cell matches on a pay-per-view every year, the amount of repetitions that you see, repetitive spots, is very high. But both women delivered something that was very different. You had a lot of cool spots on the outside of the ring, a lot of cool spots inside the ring. Focusing on Sasha's meteoras was kind of the focal point. A lot of the high spots included that. They did some creative stuff with the kendo sticks. Like I said, they were very creative. It's right up there with TakeOver Brooklyn 1 for me, which I thought, if we had the podcast at that point, that's a 5 broken tables for me. This is just a little bit under there at 4.5, like I just said a little while ago. But overall, I thought this was an awesome match. This and the other Hell in a Cell match were 2 match of the year contenders, especially if you're just rating this WWE matches. By far, 2 of the best matches WWE has done this year. Once again, should have main evented the pay-per-view. I don't get their decision making. I guess they wanted to have people think that The Miz might be cashing in, or, since whoever won that main event, they wanted to really harp on that guy's win. But I think it backfired a little bit, because the 3rd Hell in a Cell match for me was a 3.25 broken tables. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton now has tied Triple H for the most title reigns in WWE history. He's still behind Cena and Flair, I believe, at 14, which is a big accomplishment in his own right. And that's why you kind of see why they wanted him in the main event, because he's winning his 14th World Championship. That's important. But this feud went too long. I mean, I thought Orton was red hot. If you were going to pull the trigger on Randy Orton, you should have pulled the trigger on him 2 pay-per-views ago, or the second pay-per-view. And then the third match is the trilogy, and Orton beats him inside Hell in a Cell. You ran the feud long. You had him lose twice. I mean, the second time even more convincingly than the first. And you're expecting us to be really into this feud as a main event level feud. It wasn't that at this point. They ran the wheels off the feud, and to their credit, they still got a really good match from a cold feud. Both other Hell in a Cell matches, I think, were better and more justifiable to be main eventing. This one was more methodical paced, even more slower paced than the Roman match, and it didn't have the personal ramifications and beef in that feud, I mean, to justify it being the main event. That's just my opinion. Best spot was when Orton tossed McIntyre off the top of the cell. You know, he had internal bleeding, and then he came in and did the Claymore spot where he avoids it. He gets hit with it and rolls to the outside. RKO, 1, 2, 3. Orton is now at V14 of his illustrious career, well deserved. And I think the way they thought people were going to see this was the Miz is cashing in. And that's why I think they made this the main event, because everyone thought Miz was cashing in, and it adds that moment of surprise. Like, is he going to cash in? What if Drew wins? You know, Drew versus Miz. You know, they're going to rehash Orton versus the Miz, where Miz first cashed in his first briefcase and won the title. They didn't do that. Pay-per-view ends with Orton on top. I don't know where McIntyre goes from here. I'm pretty sure he'll be feuding with The Fiend at some point. That seems like the obvious choice. Or something with Retribution, or they'll figure something out where McIntyre takes a step away from the title. Now for Orton, there's a lot of babyfaces on the show. On the SmackDown side of things, I think they're more stronger babyfaces there. On Raw, there's a lot more unestablished names and guys who could be world title guys. That's why I think this McIntyre feud is not over, sadly. I think we're going to get at least one more. And then we're going to be building into Edge Orton at WrestleMania for the title, I think, this year. I think that's my opinion. So right now, if we're looking with a telescope past this pay-per-view, which I thought was pretty good. Overall, I thought this pay-per-view was a good 4 out of 5 for me for a pay-per-view match. You got 2 4+ broken table matches. You got a 3 broken table match, and you got a couple filler matches that you could have skipped. You got a pretty solid pay-per-view across the board. Now, if I'm looking past this pay-per-view, and we're looking into WrestleMania season, because now we're almost into November. Sasha versus Bianca Belair, something I want to see at WrestleMania. Edge Orton 3. And lastly, Roman versus The Rock. That would be my 3 matches are coming out of this pay-per-view that I can see happening. Will it happen? Is this another prediction I'm going to get right, like I said with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair? We'll see. What did you guys think of this pay-per-view? Thumbs up, thumbs down, best match. Do you agree with my broken table ratings? Do you agree with the Miz winning Money in the Bank? Are you happy Orton won? Are you happy that Sasha won? You better be happy that Roman won. He just whoop your ass. But that's it. This is Gerard from the 3T Crew signing off with our Hell in a Cell 2020 review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, see ya.